guys, welcome back to Project Base Camp. In today's video, well, for one, we're out at Cherry Creek State Park in Colorado. So we're just kind of on a winter maiden voyage, I guess you would say. We haven't really taken out the Escapade out on a winter adventure yet, and it just so happens to be like 70 degrees. So we tried to test out the cold weather, but it's not working. The main point of this video is we're going to talk about the electrical of the Escapade Backcountry. So when you get the unit, they have two electrical plugs on the outside. One back here on the back passenger side, and then there's one on the front driver's side. So the reason being is Escapade, at least as of right now that I know of, they don't have a on-site electrician, licensed electrician. So they just basically use these little no-code genius power plugs, and they're basically in a glorified extension cord. You open this up and you have an extension cord connection here, and on the inside they give you a little extension cord plug. So on the front of the camper there's another one of these which is connected to the smart battery charger, as well as there's a little power strip. We'll show you on the inside. There's a little power strip where you can plug in a heater or whatever else you want to plug in. So they're separated. So if you plug in the front, you have to have another extension cord to plug in the back. The main reason they put this one back here is this unit actually has the ARB fridge. So the fridge is actually a dual voltage fridge, so that it'll run off the 12-volt battery as well as shore power. So they put this plug back here so you can plug in the fridge or put a power strip or something back here if you need it. So I really didn't like carrying around two extension cords. I came up with the idea to actually connect the front system to a power outlet back here in the back. So then we only have to carry one extension cord with us if we're plugged into shore power, which is pretty much never. But when we're plugged in at home, then I don't have to have these cords running around the backyard when we're charging the batteries. Anyway, I want to show you guys how I did this. Keep in mind, I'm not a licensed electrician. If you want to do this, do it at your own risk. So up here on the front driver's side of the camper, you can see this is the second port to plug in an extension cord. This one is separate from the back one. This is what charges your battery as well as runs the little power strip that's inside. So let me show you what we got in here. So you can see up here on the top of the counter is where the shore power plugs are. So that'd be this unit here. And then under here, this is where the cord comes in, and then they, from the factory, plug in this little power strip, which includes the no-code genius charger for the battery. So I'll go ahead and show you what we did. So what you're going to need for this project is some 14-2 outdoor rated electrical wire, a plug so you can connect the wire to your power strip, a drill of some sort, and a drill bit so you can run the wire through the camper, some zip ties so you can tie down the wire, an outlet box and an outlet, as well as some wire clamps so you can clamp down the wire where there is no existing wire to zip tie to. So what I did was take that 14-2 outdoor rated electrical wire and connected it to this plug that you can get at pretty much any hardware store that has an electrical section. What you do is you run this electrical wire through the back of the plug and then screw it to this piece here, and then you can put it back together, put this screw in, and then you have basically an extension cord that we can plug right into the power strip. So from there, we go over here to the corner. So back in the corner of the electrical panel, I drilled a hole straight down and ran our new wire right through that hole. And then underneath you can see where I drilled that hole in this corner and ran the electrical wire down in the back corner of this little storage area. And then I had to drill a hole down through the bottom of the camper here and ran the wire straight through there to underneath of the chassis. So now we are underneath of the camper on the front driver's side. This is where we drill the hole down from inside the camper. And here you can kind of see where the electrical wire runs out of the inside of the camper and then underneath of the chassis. So here is where Escapade has ran all of their electrical lines. So that includes the 12-volt system as well as the trailer brakes, the taillights, things like that. So that leaves a nice convenient spot to zip tie everything that you might run. So you can see I have zip tied some lines there. So Escapade runs all their electrical lines through the frame of the camper, and they use these little grommets so they can run the wire through here without damaging any of the wire. Luckily, there is plenty of room here to run more wires for future projects. So you can see that the electrical line runs right through that same grommet and then is zip tied to the existing electrical lines in quite a few places. You want to make sure that nothing's really moving so you don't get any rubbing. So if you look down through the chassis, there are more grommets through the frame, and then zip ties where we ran our new electrical line. So now we're on the rear of the camper on the driver's side. Escapade already has a hole back in this corner so they can run their existing 12-volt system. So that left a perfect opportunity for us to run our new electrical line up into the galley, and you can see that here, and it goes right up through that same hole. So now we're back in the back corner of the galley. So here you can see this is where the existing wire for the Escapade trailer brakes are, as well as some of the 12-volt wiring. So I was able to run our new electrical line through there, and it just goes up through this back corner. And then again, I used some of those black cable clips, as you can see right there, to hold our line back in that corner. And then I zip tied some of our new wiring here as well, which you'll see in the future. We just ran it back in this corner and then up to a new outlet. So here I just installed a regular blue box, and I used some screws, 3/4 inch screws, to go into the wall and attach the new outlet box, and then installed a regular outlet. So when you plug in the new plug in the front of the camper, it energizes this instead of having to use the second extension cord on the other side. So now you can see how convenient it is to have a single plug that runs everything in the camper instead of having two electrical lines that you have to run over to shore power, especially when you're at home, so you're not tripping over multiple cords and things. So now when we plug in the front of the camper, we also have power back here, and it's really handy to have multiple plugs here. So now we have our ARB fridge plugged in here, so when you're on shore power, you don't have to have the batteries drained down. And then also you can bring, blender or whatever you want to make daiquiris or Palisade peach smoothies or whatever you want to make in the back of your Escapade. So anyway, if you guys have any comments or questions about this little project, just let us know down in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next episode.